Hey there, Tiger Shark here again with Okano. I'm apparently drawn to horror games. I don't know what it is. Jump scares really mess me up, and the creepy vibe a lot of games have has been enough to cause me to not finish them. But something about them, they often have the most intriguing stories or gameplay or world building or world design. I just keep coming back. Anyway, the latest horror game to catch my attention did so because the artwork for the game featured an anime girl in a suit and tie surrounded by Lovecraftian nightmares. The game is called The Chronicles of Yiannau, Beneath Ivory Moon. I have no idea how to say that word, so I did my best guess. This one took me just over an hour to finish, so it already passes my most frequent critique. Play as an anime girl named Elizabeth with an S, who is also a lawyer and also knows how to use guns apparently. You're trying to find evidence to defend a client or something. But the town you go to is full of cult members and some kind of weird fish monsters. To be honest, I had a bit of trouble following the story. I think it was probably a translation thing. On that train of thought, there are 3 language options: English, Spanish, and French. The game defaulted to French when I opened it, so I would guess the dev is French, but I don't know that for sure. I chose English, though sometimes dialogue or notes would randomly be in Spanish instead. Of course, I take every opportunity to mention that I actually know a lot of Spanish, so it wasn't a big problem for me, but it definitely was something that should be fixed in the future. The game is played with tank controls with fixed camera angles in the style of Silent Hill and Resident Evil. The dev specifically cites Silent Hill as an inspiration in the game description. I really like this fixed camera style, but sometimes it can be infuriating. In this case, it was too easy for the protagonist to move out of the frame and then get lost off camera. A couple times I was stuck for a good minute trying to navigate back to where I could see where I was going. A lot of the time, also, the camera angle wouldn't switch until the character is fully out of frame for a moment, causing some unnecessary anxiety when I couldn't see if there was an enemy right on top of me or not. Maybe that was intentional for maximum scariness, but honestly, it's just annoying. I think the character should always be in frame at all times, otherwise it can cause problems. This wasn't a game-breaking issue, but it was noticeable and annoying enough that I apparently had to write 7 whole sentences about it. Moving on, since I mentioned enemies, I'll talk about that. I didn't encounter a single enemy or NPC for a while when I was first exploring the town, but when I met Albert, the only actual NPC you could meet face to face, Elizabeth told him she'd had an unfriendly reception and had to defend herself. I didn't even have a gun at this point, I'd only found ammo. So Elizabeth is either a liar or she's on drugs. Or more likely the dev just thought I'd have found a weapon and fought enemies before this point and didn't have scripts in place to change the dialogue. Okay, sorry, I just had to go take a dump in the middle of writing the script. Where was I? Oh yeah. On a related note, the shotgun reloads 1 shell at a time up to 8, so you have to press reload 8 times to get to full. This is not a critique, I actually kind of like this since you don't have to go through a full reload animation if you're surrounded by 5 cultists and you're panicking with 1 shell in the chamber. The only thing I would change here is maybe make it so Elizabeth keeps reloading if you hold the button down but stops as soon as you let go. In terms of combat, it's pretty basic. You can only aim left or right, but you'll never need to aim up or down anyway. I would have a glitch occasionally where the shotgun wouldn't lower or reload when I let go of the right mouse button, but that wasn't a big deal and would fix itself in a minute. All the enemies died in 1 shotgun blast or 3 to 5 pistol shots. There are 3 enemy types, but it seemed to be basically cosmetic since they all kinda act the same and just kinda walk at you menacingly. I was simultaneously relieved and disappointed at the lack of a boss fight at the end too. I guess the final gauntlet of enemies was stressful enough since the game seemingly stopped giving me ammo and I never found a melee weapon. So I really don't know what I would have done if I ran out before the end. So if you play the game yourself, explore everywhere and get as much ammo as possible. Link will be in the description as usual if you want to. But before I wrap it up, I have a couple other thoughts to mention. I do think the scary music went a little too hard. I get they were trying to go for a creepy vibe, but when it's just kinda going the whole time it loses something. They did blatantly copy the Resident Evil door transitions. I'm not critiquing that either, I love those, I just don't know if Capcom can come after you for using their ideas. Or maybe they weren't the first ones to do that, I don't know. Either way, it's still cool. There was even a unique animation for going down the well, although I accidentally went back up the well and they used the same going down animation, which makes absolutely no sense. Okay, I've been going for a while, but I have 2 more actual criticisms. First, the opening text in the beginning cutscene was so long. It's not a bad thing in itself. The cutscene pans to a shot of Elizabeth standing on a boat, but then the text starts to appear and it just keeps going over the same shot. I think breaking the text up into smaller paragraphs that appeared as the cutscene was playing would have been a better way to do it. And the last thing is that when Elizabeth turns and plays, she still uses the walking forward animation. It's just a little odd and immersion breaking. Having a different animation for that, or just not even having an animation at all when she's not walking, would have been an improvement. Anyway, I think this is the longest script I've ever written for this channel so far. If you made it all the way to the end, why not think about subscribing and leaving a like? Maybe even leave a comment if you have any thoughts on the game or on my format or anything really. If you have a dog, let me know its name and breed. I don't have a dog, but sometimes I walk or feed my brother-in-law's dog. He's an old black lab named Tank. Anyway, that's all for this one, and as always, I hope you and your dog have a spectacular day.